Hello, everyone. I'm Motoyuki Oki, a data scientist here in Line. I'm mainly in charge of data analysis on our communication app Line. In this session, I will take you through some of the enhancements made on Line's chat menu UI based on data science. I hope that this session will give you an opportunity to better understand how Line's data scientist teams contribute to products. Let's begin. First of all, here are the key messages that I wish you will take away from my session. That is, 3 roles of Line's data science team. First, we handle a large-scale data globally, navigating our decision-making. Second, we estimate business impacts from our data and assess implications including a business point of view. Third, using our data, we proactively suggest next improvement to our business teams. From here on, I will introduce a case study of our chat menu, and I hope you better understand the 3 roles as I go through. This is the agenda. First, chat menu UI, including which UI it is, its issues in the past, and the background leading up to an analysis project. Second, challenges in analysis, covering what analysis challenges we solved to decide on new UI and what result we had. Third, further UX improvement, touching on our proposals from our analysis and the release of improvement, and I'll wrap up in the end. Let's go into the background of this analysis project. Some of you in the audience may have used Line's chat menu. If you have, please raise your hand. Having said that, I can't see your hand as this is online. Hoping that all of you raise your hand, and I'll continue to explain what the chat menu is. Our new chat menu UI was released globally this April, making the headlines in Line's blog. Let me talk about the details of new chat menu UI. Your Line's chat room, a group chat room, has a hamburger menu icon at the top right, and tapping the icon will navigate you to the chat menu. I invite you to open your Line app to check it once again. The chat menu UI provides the access to various information in chat room, settings for communication with your friends, managing your group members, albums and photos, and other features can be accessed from the menu. That was the new chat menu UI, but why did we renew the chat menu this April? This is the UI of chat menu version 0. Some of you may still remember this UI. This UI was used for a long time, but it had some problems. One of them was that the menu only consisted of many icons and labels. There were few clues for users to see what's inside an icon, and due to the limitation on labels' length, the meaning of icons were not fully explained. This is the chat menu version 1, which was released only for iOS. We applied a list type UI, and the previews for albums and photos started to be displayed. However, due to the list type UI, it became vertically long, and users couldn't see the contents located at the bottom at a glance. As a result, our quantitative assessment showed that the number of clicks on albums increased greatly, but some contents saw the decrease in clicks, and as a whole, version 1 didn't outperform the version 0. As you can see, in our all two versions of UI, in both qualitative and quantitative aspects, issues were found, and we decided to overhaul the chat menu. Next, I will explain more specific plans for enhancement. In version 1, the number of clicks on the contents outside the screen decreased. So, we decided to contain all contents in one screen. And to achieve this, grouping of proper items and displaying visuals such as previews of albums and photos were adopted. After a series of discussions, we combined advantages from version 0 and 1 and selected two final candidates for new UI. The first one was the 4-icon UI. We lined up 4 icons to manage group members in chat room, also listed contents such as albums and photos with some previews. The other candidate was 8-icon UI. We lined up the 8 icons for basic features and the rest as preview items, resulting in a more compact and rich screen. Now we had our new UI candidates. So, let's move on to the analysis part to select the best UI among the candidates, including old UIs. Let me explain how we resolve the challenges in our analysis. First problem was, from 4 candidate UIs, how do we choose the best? In a similar situation, you may set KPIs and perform an A/B test. Then, as KPIs for this chat menu, what can you think of? Users' usages, clicks on contents, the number of invitations to chat groups, user management were examples of critical KPIs that we could think of. As we came up with multiple KPIs, instead of narrowing down to 1, we divided them into 3 stages according to our priority, and we compared UIs in a 3-stage competition. In the first stage, whether users visit the chat menu and whether they visit more frequently were assessed. Next, for the UIs ended in a tie in the first stage, click counts within the chat menu and bounce rates were assessed. And if some UIs still resulted in a tie in the second stage, group invitation, node creation, and such conversion KPIs were assessed. We conducted A/B tests based on this idea. The next question was, how do we handle all the patterns? That is, if you compare 4 UIs in pairs, then you get 6 pairs in total. Furthermore, Line app has 5 room types. And also, we had to do assessments in major 4 regions. If we just try to compare all the pairs, we will need a large sample size for A/B test. Also, if we extract data from scratch, the data handling cost by our analysts will be extremely high. Against this issue, as room types and regions were both important, we decided to keep the number of them as they are and reduce the number of pairs, which means instead of having 6 UI comparison analyses, we only had 3. The first comparison was between version 0 UI and version 1. Based on our prior research, we had expected version 0 would be better. The second comparison was version 0 and 4-icon UI, a new UI candidate. We predicted that the 4-icon UI with rich visual should have more click counts. Lastly, the 4-icon and 8-icon UI comparison. It was hard to predict a winner, so this comparison will be most important. We utilized our prior knowledge and halved the number of analyses so that we could minimize the false positive rate with small sample sizes. Moreover, as for the data handling cost of analysts, Line has a tool called Libra Report, which is a semi-automatic A/B test monitoring tool. There are related presentations in our dev day, so I will not go into the details, but analysts push necessary SQL queries into GitHub, and Libra semi-automatically visualizes and groups the data, reducing the cost. Let's take a look at our actual result. In the first stage of the competition, users' views on the chat menu and frequency of views were analyzed. As a result, no pairs of UIs had a significant difference in any regions, which means UI changes had no influence on the view counts of the chat menu. This stage had no winning UI, so we moved on to the second stage. In the second stage, 4-icon UI greatly outperformed others in numbers. It had an increase in click counts by 0.01 and lowered bounce rate by 9%. Based on this result, instead of 8-icon UI in a compact display, a good number of icons and a list seemed to be an effective UI. Though we had a winner in the second stage, we had comparison in the third stage too. The number of group invitations or blocked friends saw no difference, but the number of nodes created significantly decreased with the 4-icon UI. This was a negative result, but the number of increase in click counts assessed in the second stage was more important. So we maintained 4-icon UI as a winner based on our quantitative assessment. However, this is not the end of our analysis. To be certain about the result, we had to check whether this result was distorted by the bias from this new UI. What I mean by bias effect is, for example, those users using version 0 for a long time see the 4-icon UI for the first time, and they may get confused. As a result, they may click various elements more than usual. So we should eliminate such a bias effect caused by a new UI. To estimate bias effects from the new UI, the difference in differences approach was applied. Let me explain with an example. This chart shows the number of click counts in version 0 and 4-icon UI for each week using tentative data. First, a significant difference in differences between each week is assessed. In this example, the first week shows a big difference compared with other weeks. To eliminate the bias effects, this week with a significant difference is removed from the period to be analyzed. In our test also, we removed the first week and we reassessed our A/B test. Still, we had the same result. 4-icon UI was the winner, but through the statistical analysis, the result was reassured. Furthermore, the result found in our A/B test was applied to the actual number of users to calculate the business impact. This test showed the increase of the number of clicks by 0.01. You might think it is a very small impact. However, Line app currently has over 160 million users, and users launch the app almost every day, so the impact could be simply 600 million more clicks to be generated in a year. As you can see, the test result was converted to business impacts to show how big it can be. On top of that, we did some further UX improvement. Here's one example. Based on the analysis so far, 4-icon UI was selected, and we focused on the position of the setting icon. This is to change the setting of chat rooms, but this position may be deteriorating user experience, we thought. After the analysis of the icon, we found 2 pain points. Here's the first one. Out of the sessions to click the setting icon, in about 40% sessions, users clicked the contents at the bottom and came back to click the setting icon. We assumed that users were searching for something to the bottom and came back to the top right setting icon. Here's the second pain point. Users clicked block icon at top right and quickly clicked unblock. This behavior significantly increased. For this, we assumed users tried to click the setting icon but mistakenly touched the block. Based on our analysis, we made a proposal that the top right setting icon should be moved to the bottom. Our proposal was adopted, and you can see our achievement in our chat menu. That was about the chat menu enhancement project. The UI that I showed in the beginning has been released at 100% in major regions. I hope that the new chat menu can remind you of our database enhancement journey. Also, please use the new chat menu more frequently. We will be extremely happy. Let me wrap up my session. In the beginning of my session, I mentioned Line's data science team's 3 roles. As for enhancements in Line app, not only the chat menu, but other services also benefit from these 3 roles. The data science team will make continuous efforts to improve Line app. Please stay tuned. Thank you very much for listening.